Hey guys, Beast here, and I want to introduce you to the Proshot. I've got it attached here to a Shoei X2 helmet. I've had this for the last couple of years, and if you guys know me, you know that I hate putting the GoPros and stuff on the side. They're just not aerodynamic. I think it looks goofy. I've tried multiple mounts on the KLR, but when you're out dual sporting out in the rocks and getting bounced around, it really just isn't very advantageous to have it on the bike. So the best stabilized platform you can have is your body. Your body's a big shock absorber, and so the best thing to do is have it mounted on your helmet. The number one question I got all summer, and you guys saw I did all these different rides. Went to Overland Expo, to Motos and Moab. I did Horizons Unlimited last year. Number one question I always get is, how do you have your GoPro attached? Because everybody wants it attached securely to their helmet. Most of them hate the thing on the side. I don't personally like seeing part of the helmet in the view. Some people think it's your way of being with the rider. I'd rather you actually see what I'm seeing through my eyes, which is not the side of my helmet. And so the best thing I found is this Proshot. Now it uses the Duralock system. It's that high extreme Velcro on here. This thing takes some force to get off here. I actually carry the helmet around by the GoPro or whatever I'm having on here. I just grab the whole thing, carry it around. I have no qualms about it coming off at all. There's a couple vent holes here that do help redirect some of the air in case you're going to be blocking some of your ports in here. Now, when I have the GoPro up here and I'm super cold environments, going over mountain passes, I've got every fog thing known to man active on this helmet, and I'm still getting a little bit of fogging. I will actually just push my GoPro down. I don't keep it that tight. I keep it tight enough to stay in place, but I can still actively pivot it on here so that I can easily change batteries and swap, settings without having to get out my Allen wrench. If you saw my other video, I usually use a M5 bolt on here. It's a M5 by 80 thread, 20 millimeter, because I can't stand the thumb screw stuff that action cameras give you. But I'll cut open to a real quick clip of me replacing that. All right, welcome out to the workshop here. One of the things you can see on here that I actually ordered a second one before taking this apart. I've had this on the helmet since I bought it. I haven't really had a need to pull it off. If I'm changing, I just usually leave the case attached up here. And if I need to change the camera out, then I just pull it out of the case. So I haven't had a reason to take this off. And I have got to tell you, the Velcro here, the super extreme stuff, in a patch this big, this thing was bolted on here. I had to literally take something to kind of pry off one end in order to get it off. So there is absolutely no worries of pulling this off. And in fact, a lot of the times when I have the camera attached, I'm grabbing the helmet from the camera. And carrying my helmet around. It's just easier than lifting it like this. I literally just grab it by the face. So this thing is definitely durable, definitely strong. But what I realized as I was switching cameras the other day is I actually had one of these little tabs break off, and I didn't even know it. So the tabs were keeping it in place, and the extra one that was broken here was being sandwiched by the the GoPro screw. And it still worked flawlessly, but I was like, well, crap, I should probably order another one. Then I pulled this thing off, and then soon realized I probably had forgotten. I probably knew it from the beginning, but as you can see, that little nut under there. So all this is the little quarter 20 accepting nut on the backside for basically putting on to a tripod. So if you buy a GoPro mount that's designed for a tripod mount, that's all this is. And so literally, if you're running a different system and you have a proprietary thing that doesn't even use the GoPro mount style, which most don't, but if you can get an adapter that works with a quarter 20 thread here, then it should work as long as you have enough clearance. You also see that I've put this facing forward. You could face this back if your helmet wanted to hug on there. So as you can see, you're never really going to break this thing, but I did end up somehow breaking this mount. And on this mount is just the actual 1/4 inch tripod mount. So even if you're not running a GoPro or GoPro style mount, go ahead and just take that off, and whatever system that yours runs for a tripod mount, screw it right on here, and you're going to have a rock solid attachment for any of your action cameras. Highly recommended. I really think it's the best thing. You don't have to be the number one, vlogger on YouTube to want this. You can just be riding with your buddies on the weekend and never post this on the internet, and you'll have the footage for yourself. A lot of guys are getting into this for their motorcycling. I still think this is the best mount possible. There's a couple ways you can do some cheaper ones. Everride, he made his own mount out of aluminum bracket that attaches over here because he runs the Sony, which is kind of more of a straightforward bullet camera. I think this works great. I like the fact that when it's mounted right up here, not only can I see the settings, but I can actively see the light, so I know it's recording. I've got everything, quickly accessed. Good thing it's in a drop-proof case because I just slammed it on the concrete. But you can activate your buttons. On my really long trips that I do, and you guys have watched the series that I did this spring, I don't roll the GoPro all the time. I just can't for the battery's sake. So when something's amazing coming up, beautiful sunset, really cool twisties, I'll turn it on, I'll turn it off, and I need to have access to it. I need to know that it's recording because too many times, often than not, with the old GoPros, sometimes I thought I was recording and it wasn't. So I like this style. I like being able to see the camera right in front of me. It makes it easier if you're actually going to run some sort of a microphone system. There's just less dangling and things like that. All right, guys. That's it. Proshot for the helmet. Highly recommended if you're going to be doing any sort of action adventure and you're trying to film it. Best way to mount it to your helmet, hands down. Check you guys down the road.